Hi, my name is Robert Shelley with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists physicians with employment contract issues. Today I'm going to talk about what are the ways a physician can be terminated with cause. So, in any contract, there's a number of mechanisms, to terminate a physician. So, one is without cause, which means either party can terminate the agreement with a certain amount of notice to the other party. Usually that's 60 or 90 days. That's where the vast majority of terminations are going to occur. And it's almost always on the physician side as well. So the physician, for whatever reason, is unhappy, has a better opportunity, has to move for family. They give without cause termination. They work out the 60 days and then they move on. Also, in every physician contract, there's going to be what's called with cause termination. And there's kind of two different parts of that. One, you'll have a termination with cause that can be an immediate termination, meaning the employer doesn't have to provide any notice to the physician, or it can be with cause termination with the opportunity to cure. And so in a contractual context, a cure period is simply a period of time where if someone is alleging the other party is in breach of contract, they usually get somewhere between 15 to 30 days to fix the breach. And then if the breach is cured, then they move on and they can, and they can no longer terminate the contract, for cause. Kind of I would say the normal, thing in people's minds as far as with cause termination are kind of the following, and I'll just go through, what are listed in nearly every physician contract. So in the contract, it's going to say the employer can terminate this contract with cause, with no notice required, and it's usually at their discretion. So they don't have to fire the physician immediately, but they can. And so kind of the obvious things are if the physician loses their medical license, so they can no longer practice as a physician, obvious termination. They lose their DEA registration, so they're no longer allowed to prescribe drugs. That's a problem for most physicians, and so that would be an immediate termination. They die. They are permanently disabled. They are uninsurable, meaning if a physician continuously gets judgments due to medical malpractice, at some point the insurance companies are going to say, we're not going to insure you anymore. And no employer is going to keep a physician that's, doesn't have malpractice insurance. So it's another thing they can terminate for immediately. Generally, felony convictions is another thing. Sometimes a state medical board will have laws that state if the physician is convicted of felony, it's an automatic revocation of their license. Other states, it kind of has to go through an investigation for them to determine if that's necessary. But for the most part, if you're convicted of felony, that's something that the employer can terminate you for. Substance abuse. So there might be some kind of either like morals clause or a clause about the physician being impaired in some way. I mean, for the most part, people think of impairment as far as substance abuse, drugs, alcohol, something like that. But, like prescription drug abuse. It can also be psychological as well. If someone's having mental health issues and they're unable to practice safely, that could be an impairment. And then I said permanent disability before. Obviously, if you're in a specialty that requires, let's say a surgeon requires your hands, and then you have some kind of nerve damage in your hands, you can't be a surgeon anymore. Well, obviously, they can terminate the contract for that. As I stated before, most of the time, if there's some other kind of breach, so like let's say a physician is refusing to take call, maybe they're acting inappropriately towards staff, they're not fulfilling the required days, hours, that type of thing. If there's some kind of volume expectation and they're far below that, in those scenarios, the employer will usually give, as I said before, some kind of written notice that they have a certain number of days to fix whatever the issue is. And then if it's fixed, the employer still could terminate them, but they would likely do it without cause, since there's no more grounds to terminate them for cause. So that's a little breakdown of how a physician can be terminated with cause, for cause, however you want to characterize it. If you have any questions, you can always call my law firm at the phone number listed below in the description, or you can always reach us through our website, chellelaw.com. That's CHELLE law.com. Anyway, appreciate you watching the video. Thank you.